Hello, I'm Dan Marr from the law firm of Hamblett Kerrigan in Nashua, New Hampshire. I've been practicing here in New Hampshire for about 35 years, maybe 36 years, and in Massachusetts for 28 years. I'm licensed in both states. And in those years of representation, both in the state of New Hampshire and the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, I've addressed what's called undue influence and mental competency challenges as to gifts that are given by sometimes older people or others that have some diminished capacity or mental capacity issues or have just been manipulated. And I've been dealing with those as the claims that have been brought against my client as the accused manipulator or the estate perhaps of or the person that has been manipulated. So in those situations, or claimed to be manipulated, in those situations I've litigated these matters a lot. And I've also given some advice to clients that have had circumstances upon which they are concerned about a loved one being manipulated. I'm going to talk to you about that in this program. So this program is going to be focusing in on what you can do before the manipulation occurs, before the assets leave the loved one that you have. So let's deal with that circumstance of you have often situation is you have a widow or a widower, meaning you have your maybe your mom, your aunt, your uncle, your brother, or your father, and they've lost their loved one, and now they have somebody that's new in their life, and they might be somebody that's significantly younger than them, and you're concerned about them being manipulated. First and foremost, they have the right to be happy, and I will tell you that judges in general will look on the overall issue of just because somebody is 20 years younger doesn't mean that there's manipulation there. That's a factor that the court will consider is the person really there just for the money, or are they actually interested in the relationship? And I will tell you also when I've been litigating these matters for the accused, I will argue, and I've successfully argued right up to the Supreme Court in New Hampshire, and I had a 6-day trial, a 5.5-day trial on one of these cases, where I was saying that the person that was 20 years younger, both sides in the relationship wanted something out of it. They both liked each other, and they got along with each other, so that was a foundation for it. But he wanted somebody to take care of him. He wanted somebody to prevent him from going into assisted living, and she wanted somebody that could financially provide for him. So the reason that we get involved early on in our lives for true love and passion and all of that, that's very, very important, and I still have that today with my spouse. When you've lost somebody, sometimes your perspective is different, and it doesn't mean that you're mentally challenged or being manipulated. You just have a different approach of you want some comfort, and you have more of a friend relationship. Maybe you have intimate relationships with that person too, but you have the friend thing. So the mere fact that the person is a significantly different age, there are a lot of older men out there that want nurses. They don't want a real nurse, but they want their relationship to be somebody that's going to take care of them and prevent them from going into the nursing home, and the other person wants something else. So look at that carefully. In the situation when you're trying to deal with these issues, I strongly recommend, even though you might be feeling bad that I can't believe that dad or mom took up with this younger person, still keep involved in their life. I've had so many of these cases where I've had the children, the accused person that's been manipulated, him saying or her saying to other people, well, my daughter or my son wrote me out, or my niece or nephew wrote me out, so I'm writing them out of the will. It's very easy for them to make the decision. Particularly as you get older, you're looking at who's there now for you, not the years that you were there before. They're thinking, unfortunately, sometimes, particularly if you get diminished capacity, you get more down to the level of almost like a childlike selfishness, and you think about that in some circumstances. And while that could be a diminished capacity, it still isn't mental capacity, lack of mental capacity to avoid any gift planning. So if there's gifts that are given to somebody that's going to remove them from being taken care of for Medicaid, that might be an issue. If they're and you can talk to the people about that and talk to your parents about that, but get involved, or don't ignore the situation, and see if you can get a relationship with the significant other too. The more you get involved in the relationship, the more likely that you're going to be able to help your parent or your aunt or uncle make the right decisions. I've dealt with this quite a bit and navigated with my clients right through this process to help them through the process so that they are able to to do things positive for the relative, and at the same time make sure that the relative doesn't get taken advantage of, and they also get the care that they need as well. So I'm here, Dan Marr, at Hamblett Kerrigan at 603-883-5501. Our telephone number again is 603-883-5501. Or you can check out our website, NashuaLaw, all one word, .com. That's NashuaLaw.com. And we have all these vlogs on there. We have my former radio show that I had on there, and also some blogs as well. So a lot of useful information. Check it out, NashuaLaw.com. And again, I'm Attorney Dan Marr. I'm happy to help you if the need arises. Thank you.